Hello and welcome to another shipwreck video. Now there are certain parts of the coastline where you will hear people say that the area is so dangerous that there is shipwreck piled up on top of shipwreck. Now it's easy to think that this might be a bit of an exaggeration, but there are actually certain places around the UK where this has actually happened. And one of those is Lizard Point, which is where we are right now. Now there's a really good example here of two completely unrelated different wrecks which, despite being years in between, have ended up in exactly the same place on the seafloor. So in today's video we're going to be diving this area, we're going to be showing you these two wrecks, telling you the history of them, and then we're going to be taking you and showing you what remains on the seafloor. The shipwrecks we're going to look at are actually located just around the corner from Lizard Point to the east, on another headland called Bass Point. The first wreck we're going to be looking at is the German steamship, the Mosel. On the morning of the 9th of August 1882, the 3,200-ton liner ran straight into the cliffs at Bass Point in dense fog. Unaware the ship was so close to the land, she was still doing a top speed of 13 knots when she struck, and although carrying 620 passengers, the ship remained aground and upright long enough to save everyone on board, something which is quite unusual along this stretch of coastline. After waiting for a good weather window, we head down to Bass Point and we dive the area just offshore from where the Mosel struck. The tides here are dangerously strong, and we don't have much of a window between the tides to be able to dive, so our timing needs to be perfect. We descend the shot line and begin to search the reef below in fantastically clear water. There is remains of the ship here all around us, although most of the wreckage is completely flattened and well camouflaged under a layer of kelp. Not only is this an incredibly exposed location, where the swells have beaten and broken the wreck apart, but also some salvage work was carried out here, where they removed the Mosel steam engine and most of its non-ferrous metals from the site. There are still plenty of identifiable features here, such as deck winches and frames from the hull, as well as steel girders and broken down plating everywhere amongst the weed. In places, this wreckage does stand several metres off the seabed, but 140 years on the bottom has taken its toll on what's left of the ship, and it's difficult to make out the outline of the wreck on the reef as it slowly blends into the surrounding rocks. There are still some small artefacts left behind by the passengers, as well as the cargo that the ship was exporting to America. Some of this can still be found down on the wreck site, such as penknives, buttons, ornate brass fixings, and these brass end plates, which are actually the remains from mouth organs. Swimming further inshore towards the area of the bow, a large steamship boiler comes into view. We can't decide if this was most likely rolled inshore in this position during storms, or maybe it was lost during salvage attempts, where salvors would often seal the ends up and pump them full of air to refloat them to the surface. Maybe they lost this one before they could tow it away, where it re-sank close into the rocks. Right next to this boiler is where things start to get interesting, because mixed in with the bow area of the Mosel is a small propeller shaft and a pile of wreckage, including a small iron propeller and the remains of a small steamship engine. This is actually the site of another completely different wreck. "53 years after the sinking of the Mosel, history would repeat itself when on the 27th of March 1935, the French trawler Le Vieux Tigre would also get lost in the fog and hit the exact same cliffs, again with no loss of life. This new wreck would come to rest on the exact same area of seabed, and the two sites are now mixed together, making it difficult to tell which part once belonged to which ship. current here doesn't stop for long, and it's soon time to leave these two wreck sites behind and head on back to the surface. So this is the first case of wreck upon wreck in this area. There's also several others that we found along the way which we can show you in later videos. But it really does go to show just how dangerous this area of coastline has been for a long time. And it's only been in recent years, with the invention of modern satellite navigation systems, that this area of coastline in dense fog has become a safe place to be able to pass by. Right, that's it for this one. That is a really good example of shipwreck sat on top of shipwreck here off the coast of the Lizard in Cornwall. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, do subscribe, because I've got another couple good shipwreck videos coming up soon, which if you enjoyed this one, you will probably enjoy. And we will catch you again soon for more videos.